2 of Marvel Avengers. So in this part, we're gonna get all the DLC done. The Avengers story possibly gets a lack of insight, but we'll see. Yeah, last part I did forget cheat code. I didn't know it was a cheat code, so here it is. Code 9KFJ7A. It's for the mini Quinjet. Alright. So, to begin off, we're gonna actually start. We're gonna let it get through this. In the last part we did got score 2, 4, and 6. So we're gonna do the DLC right now. This is actually the point I waited for. So before we do Avengers Assemble, start off. I'm not gonna start with Masters of Evil. We're gonna start with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We're gonna do the farthest one to the closest one to get. So I guess DLC cutscene.
The following information is highly classified and should only be accessed by agents with experience. Season 2.
Don't practice in that.
It has become apparent that our leadership style is some secrets. Once revealed, our mission to a very alien set. They had no way of knowing that the transforming alien technology we found would cause S.H.I.E.L.D. itself to fracture. Sky's gifts came from the father, a villainous doctor with a ruthless bedside manner, and her mother, an energy vampire bent on starting a war with S.H.I.E.L.D. What she didn't anticipate was that someone had called her the captain.
Alright. So,
Things weren't going well. We were outnumbered, and many of our best agents had been compromised. The mission directive had changed. Our priority was now to infiltrate the enemy complex and extract the remaining agents.
alright, so how we're gonna do this is I'm not gonna sit down and select every spot because we already have a multiplier, so what's the point? So I'll actually get us to where the stuff is. First I'll start off the bat. The first mini kit. Probably you cannot get because you do need to get that was weird. Though I was heard that during the anger management, like last time we did anger management, me and Craker did it actually had a problem with us beginning it, so I had to go to the mini screen. So if that does happen to be the case, I'm going to be going ahead and showing you on the mini screen what the cutscene is, because that's the computer screen. But we're not going to make it there in this part. I'm just going to forewarn you guys. Honestly, this is probably going to be like the shortest part compared to the original first part, but this might also be the longest part because it depends on how much I'm going to get done. So the mini kit we can do is actually the target mini kit. So what I'm going to do, we're going to hit that one. There's one target we're going to skip though, so the mini kit will not be left out unless I'm going to have to come back for it. There's also another mini kit we're going to actually get. I made a mistake here too. So there's actually 2 mini kits, not one. I say the problem with this level Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is that there is like they force you to do the whole thing, and that's it. The reason I'm doing the computer version, obviously, is because there's not exclusive DLC to it, and that's the Ant-Man and Ant-Man one. So the next part is right here, or right there. So we're gonna know we're working on that. We're gonna get done with the actual minikit we need to. First minikit, we do actually need to save them first. Keep in mind that like certain levels, we're gonna have to redo a bunch of story stuff, like Agents of Shield, for example. I kind of really wish this feature returned in Avengers, but I mean, Superheroes 2 it doesn't. But after you scan it again, it should trigger it. It will drop the rock and it will drop the pieces from the minikit.
We wouldn't be able to reach him from the ground, so we had to take a different approach.
So yeah, we're almost done with the first part. There's two parts to this level, including the Wakanda one. However, the Wakanda one is kind of unique, is they actually mislabeled it how many minikits are on the last scene. Last scene should have at least Stan and 2 minikits we're gonna have to go back for. I think there's a target in there, up in here. I'm gonna see for a minute. Yep, there is. So I'm actually gonna go back to the fourth one. That's gonna be on the ground. So that's the third.
We needed to get higher ground. Johnny and Sky were always just our friends.
There's the next one right in front of us, right there. But before I can do that one, I'm gonna actually get the next one that we're gonna do. And by the way, we should only be able to get one more minikit, but it's the next scene for the bonus level, the DLC level. So if you try to purchase this thing, it's gonna do that thing. So we're gonna actually shoot randomly in there. I know it's gonna be lost to studs, but the reason why we're gonna shoot randomly because in the far back corner, I actually hit it, aimed it there. Because whenever where the last one gets shot at of it, is where the last one will go. So there. Sometimes I mean it would probably spawn there normally, so that's why you need to hit that one just in case. Alright, this should be that's all the make-its we can do. So after you make it to them, after you follow and make it to them.
Agent name, log entry 1129. Johnny revealed the true color, but it was too late to stop. Sky's mother was the only one from the family. Her father Cal had all the time even more than me. I was like not even when I saw her was in. The human known as Warden had been attacking agents on board for only a few seconds, but the entire quadrant had already been compromised. Her big shield had been working on quantum entanglement technology over the last year. Fitz had been running some diagnostic tests on 3 prototype quantum field disruptors. Hopefully they could be used to limit Gordon's dimensional warping powers, meaning he wouldn't be able to get away.
So we're gonna have to do this during story.
I could have if I had the chance.
The sad part is we're gonna have to do all these story events because we need one particular action to happen. Okay. The Agent of Shield level is gonna be like one I mean, like a quick replay. But here's our last mini kit. We're gonna go back in the room anyways. That's the last mini kit. You can get in the level. I actually, by the way, do you ever tell me a visual diagram going, hey, do you remember where all the mini kits are? I actually do not remember all the mini kits in my head, but I remember, so what we need to do is break that open and then do this. So then this event should be, we're forced to play as her and then just get it done. We're almost done with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then we're going to do free play for it.
We should have anticipated this.
You have to do that and then...
Having some trouble? That's why I'm here.
There we go. This should happen and
Director Coulson's genius plan may have cleared the mist, but it also disrupted her power. Fritz wanted to search for something, but we had more immediate threats to deal with. Jian Ying had given us her ex, Cal, as a prisoner, but he turned out to be another pawn in her game.
so technically we have to go back because we need to get into that side room. If we could get in there earlier, we could. But now what we're doing is we're just waiting. Yeah, basically we're just waiting until till we can get this thing and then
Coulson had ordered us to take down Cal gently. Wouldn't have been my call.
so then the level, what we need to do is just do this. And just do this. Alright, this is on the level. Like I mentioned before, it's very short.
After trapping Dr. Sabo, Director Coulson used Cal's family connections to subdue the more beastly side of his nature. With Sabo on our side and S.H.I.E.L.D. finally working as a team, the rest was just cleanup. This is not the last we'll see of the Inhumans, but at least our team made it out intact. Where's Simmons?
And by the way, for a record, this is DLC, not part of the Avengers story. So we're going to cover all the DLC now. Obviously, what I said. First, back to the shortest. We're going to definitely end with Masters of Evil. Because I really don't care for Masters of Evil. So, 4 mini kits and then the rest. Okay. So,
This is Agent Belinda May with a special.
so yeah, this is just going to be quick.
Following information.
It's kind of like one of those things where I kind of do wish they go quicker now, but the longest ones we're going to have is definitely the shortest replays, Masters of Evil. Or it's going to be like 2 minutes. So for the mini kit here, you just need to simply just dig. And, it's that pile. No, it's this pile. Right? Okay, you have to at least dig one of these piles. I mean, all the piles actually. To break enough. Just to build a mini kit. Okay, that's the first mini kit. Our next next minikit, we do actually have to continue the main story. Want to get into that side room. So we only have 4 more minikits to get. So go into the side room. They're gonna already flip us, so I'm just gonna do it. Just to be safe. So far we only need 3 more minikits. And they're actually right next to each other, so we have to get into the room for 1 minikit. That's gonna actually be my last minikit I'm gonna do because I'm gonna have to follow her after and then just continue to the next scene. And then while I'm doing this stuff, I will do the minikits and collectibles in the next part. Yeah, it's kind of like one of those things where I did like it, but I also did not like this part of the story, so okay. Rings Iron Man. It just saves us about a second from clicking around and writing that stuff. So the good news is about this is we do actually have in the last part we did bought Loki and the Fast Iron Man. The only reason I bought Fast Iron Man was because I need it for a later minikit that's going to be a no strings on me. That's going to be after we do the Avengers story. We could go to it, but it's going to be after we do the other ones that happen in between. I'm so laid back. The real problem I have with this level is just being, a level. So obviously we're going to hurry up and get the rest of the collectibles we can. So the next 2 should be, for this part, not 2, 3. There should be 1 over here. 2 actually. I always have make it detector if I need to do it, but they gave us the Fast Iron Man anyway, so cool. I say you do actually have to do the main story still. So that's the minikit right there. So the next minikit is actually going to be right here. So first off, we do want to use this character because we're about to be able to do Hydra and normal. So yeah. Now we can just go under. Start move. And then while we're in here, we have to just break everything, including the gold in here. And then we just have to build this Jimmy Sweeper. And use our Telenetic. It's very funny in this game, Dormammu could fly, but in the previous game, superheroes, he couldn't. But okay. So this should be the last minikit because you'll see why. So then you follow her, this will cause the next cutscene to begin. So at least the good news is you won't both make it. So before we can get the 1 minikit, we're going to actually have to do this part. Because So we need to be able to get to the cell behind him. So it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, oh, come on. So we'll start by getting our way there. First off, here's the first mini kit of the part. We had to go back for it. The next mini kit, I didn't know where it was there, but who cares? Is right here. I kind of don't think it was like unnecessary to show this cutscene. But man, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is kind of like one of those things. Before I go finish that up, we'll get our next minikit right here. For replay. Alright, so our next minikit is actually going to be... I mean, for the final minikit, we do actually have to just continue the story to that point until we can get into that room. So I'm just going to worry about doing that majorly, but we're going to also save Sam very quick in a minute. There we go. And to save Sam, we do needed Dormammu. Can I have him? Thank you. And we simply just have to do this. Honestly, I knew it wasn't going to be too long. Honestly, our long ones is going to be this one, Black Panther, let me go continue, Black Panther, and, I guess, the Ant-Man one, but I think it's, all different Doctor Strange, and Captain Marvel won't take us so long, because the beginning part, there's only, like, one main character I can get to. For replay. Okay, so this is the first DLC I'll level all the way. Alright, that was it. So now we're moving on to the next one. Marvel Avengers and S.H.I.E.L.D. I forgot what the Black Panther one is called. I'm going to actually run by and get score 8 in just a little bit. I'm actually not going to do it right now. Because we don't really need that in our multiplier. Honestly, if you ever ask me, my favorite game of the multipliers is definitely, yeah, there's a cutscene.
We had to proceed the rest of the way on foot.
Honestly, this level's gonna be kind of quick. The only most annoying part we're gonna have is we're gonna have to fight the Black Knight. This is the last one we get. But Black Knight on free play, but we're gonna first get the first mini kit. If we could fly, we could have gotten our mini kit, but because we can't fly our West Wing. There you go. We will have to keep this on the story, but we only at least have to do is get all purple. So this one should give us money if we go nearby it. So we actually, that's not the one we have to do. Yeah, I was gonna actually, I never said, and like, if I was ever asked, like, what was my favorite game with some multipliers, definitely the Skywalker saga, because, Jesus, how much is that?
We worship the Panther God, who has protected and guided us since time began. It is from her that my powers are blessed.
So what we're gonna do is when us do this all on free play, obviously, we're only going to go to, we will not open any other door. So what we need to do is technically to keep on the row we could always do. We do want to do orange first. It's because that's the mini kit, obviously. But instead, so I don't have to watch another cutscene because the other one has studs in it. We're going to skip it. And open this up. It's kind of funny, though, that the only... They do the DLC with comics like that.
Destination was over the two lines, a dangerous path, but we had no other choice.
Honestly, from all the DLC levels,
My sister, fierce and loyal. I had always tried my best to protect her, though she rarely needed. Her skills as a warrior were only matched by her intellect.
okay, so there is of course the Ultron statue things here. There's also another big one that's under that gold statue up here.
They were prepared if we were to reach home.
But there's actually another mini kit here, even though they said it was in the next scene. It's actually right over up there to get it though, however. I need to see something for a minute. I wanted to see something for a minute, but it doesn't look like it's possible. I was gonna see if I could just jump up there. Skip a little bit of the story events, but it doesn't look like that. But okay.
Yuri's skill with a spear was incredible. I did not envy those who sought to test her.
So yeah, there's only gonna be, and there's an arm mini kit right up there with a flower. So yeah. Surprisingly enough, Captain Marvel's the last one that has a two-parter scene, because the rest of the DLC is only one scene, Masters of Evil, all new, all different Doctor Strange, and the Ant-Man one. So, right now what we're doing is we are... So, when I suggest though, I would suggest you people just to do the scene all the way. and we shouldn't have a problem with Avengers minikit that I had to do. So, I guess it's a good time to talk about it because we're gonna be hitting there eventually. When I originally did this, it was moving slow, like very slow, like we were moving very slow. It was because the original one, this drive pretty much got fried. So that's why I was feeling at that mini error, and that's why one of the mini kits, two of the mini kits weren't there when there was supposed to be one there.
Also known as the Black Knight, apparently a direct descendant of Sir Lancelot himself. He referred to me as a father, which I found a little confusing.
So the only mini kit we can get locked in this level is that one I'm doing right now. The last two is at the boss fight with claws.
The Black Knight appeared to wield his ebony blade clumsily, like a crook. However, I had to be careful that this wasn't simply an act to trick me into lowering my guard.
Honestly, I don't know why they make you do this whole boss fight. At least you don't have to watch them coming in again. Honestly, it's kind of like one of those things where there's actually no point of flipping characters after you're done.
Yet we stood strong. We would show him the strength of Wakanda.
I think I have to say the good news is this is technically the last longest DLC level, because the other ones do roughly go a little bit quicker. And then from there we should be able to do on that. So like I mean, because I had to do other stuff earlier and like that, and that's why it's gonna. I would have had more, but it's like. Yeah. So yeah, this should be done in the boss fight after.
Defeated the Black Knight, but our showdown with Claw still lay ahead.
By the way, it doesn't mean it will matter who you do it as. By I made a mistake. Just hold the button as her, but right? No. So, yeah, the Black specify time for a level is not too long, then you have to do this boss fight. The good news is we can skip doing this boss fight. We just have to hurry up and get the minicat.
The Black Panther had now located his prey.
So yeah, this is the rest of them. He should jump. That's the last minicat. And he should only have do this once per time, almost. I do like how this is not a very long boss fight.
Having so many weapons at his disposal, Claw had developed an overwhelming sense of arrogance. This would be his undoing. As our battle continued, the danger rose ever greater. Wounded prey always fights hardest before the end.
Come on. There. And he was supposed to have had the force field up, but, yeah, whatever. We should be fine, because this should be the second time he's gonna... I mean... I feel like this was the problem I had, it's like... somewhat scripted. So, the good news is we should only need to do this one more time. And this should be the last time we have to fight Garens. It takes too long to hit. So now, I'm pretty shocked that he is doing that right now, because what's gonna happen is he should get out of his face right about now. Cause this. Trust me, at least it's not a fight with a giant chessboard. Trust me, a close boss fight is not no different when it comes to the next game we're going to be doing over. He won't be doing the laser or stun.
Victory came at last. Claw was finally defeated and would face the judgment of the Panther God. But not before he faced mine. With Claw, it's hard. It's hard. His army for hire fled like cowards they are. We prepared our troops. Both its walls and people have been destroyed.
trust me, DLC is gonna be like, only it's roughly around 2 hours, so there's the Ant-Man one, and then we'll leave us the last 3 over here. So free play, so technically it says it's free thing kits, but there's actually 8 at the scene. And then there's only 2 here. And I'll show you why. Alright. So keep in mind that, even though it looks very uneven, at least Stan is still in the right side. So what we need to do at the beginning of this part, we're going to first deal with the pile in front of us. Then I'll break the one thing in front because we do need to continue the story. So obviously, this is the next one. So we're going to start off by breaking this one. Because on our way, we're going to get to the other 2. I think our guy's intelligent, so we'll get the mid kit that I need to get right here, and then we'll do the intelligent one very quick. So before I do actually the intelligent one, we'll mean the mini flying one. We're gonna first go ahead and get here. No, you're not. What's that intelligent? Okay, so what we're only gonna do, instead of doing orange, obviously we're doing only purple. Because we already did the minikit. What's the point of doing it again for the minikit? Yeah, this is the last part. I was thinking out to you guys that it's like, hey, don't worry, I did get all the character and red brick cheat codes right. Okay, so our next minikit actually was right up here. Did apply to it. So okay, that's straight off the bat, that minikit. So technically it does say that there is whatever amount here. And don't worry. Almost done. But so our next minikit is actually gonna be the gold pile. So that'll be minikit number 2. Number 3 is here. And number 4 is actually right here. So what they made a mistake was when they were doing it. We're gonna wait until it's done. There we go. So the mistake they made was that the last minikit free we're at that. Truth is there is actually one more minikit here. What you need to do is turn this. So it's going to cause to drain the water in the panel to be available, but that's not why it's important. Then also, if you wait a second, well, first of all, you could get it here on story, but you couldn't do it on free play. You didn't do free play because you don't have it. So it's going to cause this to happen. Get our glass breaking character. There we go. So what we're going to do is continue to next scene. So the rest of the kits are actually next scene, including Stan. I've got to click that. Oops. This should lead us to the next scene. Obviously. It should teleport us automatically. Anyways, so we're good. Come on, break the metal thing in front of me. There we go. That's what you stand. Next mini kit is actually right over here. So now we have to get to the boss of claws, so. Long boss fight there. There we go. We might as well kill some time by redoing the minicap. Almost. All the way. I say this is like one of those boss fights that I do not like. The good news is that we're going to be doing next shouldn't be too long, including the Captain Marvel and the others. Trust me, Masters of Evil were just a little bit better. Was a little bit better level than this one. Like, seriously. I'm really shocked though it took me like this long. It almost feels like I'm doing a Marvel level, but it's like, nah. Trust me, the next level, the man one is gonna be pretty short. I won't forget a mini kit that I did when I replayed it with Reaper like not too long ago. So it doesn't matter who character you play as in the next part of the thing. We're gonna not fight the big bad himself. We're gonna actually ignore the big bad himself. So that way I don't have to take enough action to fight him to get the minicap. So what you need to do there you go. Alright. That is the classic Panther level. So the next one, I wasn't very familiar with it at the time, but the next one we do have to get to the very end for a minicap. For a reason, not into the boss fight room, but it was like, for example, how they did the red brick for lack of insight. You'll be seeing what I mean. Hopefully, well, it's only if we make it to lack of insight, but we probably will. So enjoy. Let's go.
Remember last week when I had to bail from the ballet, bro? If you know how much I dig my man Prokofiev and his unorthodox use of harmonies, well, my boy Scotty was coming back to town, and I had to be there for him, you know? Just like he was for me. Anyway, I'm like, that's a sweet gig. I got like, $2 on, bro.
Let me.
No way my nigga gets approved with that guy no more. So I say, they're like real skilled people, man. And he just says, I don't think so. And I'm all like, yo, Scotty, whatever, bro. Then he got fired from his job, and he's all like, let's eat waffles and do this thing. So we find our way to this old dude's house. This job I heard through my cousin's friend's brother's girl. So he finds his suit, bro, and then things start getting crazy, you know what I'm saying? Yo, I'm sorry. I'm just getting excited, you know? This dude named Cross wants to use the tech and make suits called yellow jackets and sell them to major shady dudes. Like take over the world shady. So me and Scotty, we hit up Pintech so he could stop him.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so our first main kid's there. The 1 of 5. However, I think it's this one. If not, it's actually when let's do DLC for superheroes too. Maybe yet. So yeah, it's DLC for superheroes too. It's not this. It just reminds me too much of stuff. It's pretty funny. But stuff I remember. It's like good amount of stuff. So, there should be no mini. I mean, we can't get that mini cat. Nor our next prequel's in front of us.
Now that dude was seriously angry. He had major beef with Scotty, you know? And he locked the whole place down to try to stop us. But we can handle it. We're professional.
I like how it wasn't like a original. I mean, this is kind of what was made up in the movie. I would actually go over to Lab, and it was like pretty funny. So our next one is. So yeah, this is actually a 1 scene level I didn't mention. We still have another 2 scene level for DLC, and that is later.
This place was full of high-tech gear, like straight up stuff from the future. And if anyone could get his work from, Scotty could.
I like how he brushes it off like that when so in the they go here to stop him, the Yellow Jacket, obviously, in the movie. So yeah, with it in mind, the good news is there's actually no need for us to back up, like backtrack. So this is where our next minikit actually comes in. So we want to head down and pull the switch. Then we want to flip, and we have a time limit. Instead, before we go finish it, hop into this corner right there. There's our first minikit. I forgot that one when me and Kraber redid it, and it was like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about this one. Okay, so we can't say stand. So, the reason is he's just stuck somewhere, if I remember correctly. I don't think you need to save help, like...
We need to get to the yellow jacket. The whole place is locked outside of the after traffic. There ain't no prison that can hold us. Except maybe that last one. That was pretty good.
So yeah, we can't... I know you can't save him in this because evolving sun at the top, so that target one we're doing right now should be the last minikit we can only get at this level. I mean, this is not too long. So yeah, we only have one more part of it right now. It's up the elevator and down the way. So yeah, obviously we can't get that minikit, but none of us can fly. I think Stan is actually in the room on the left over here, and that's why we can't get him. But if not, is I want the top balcony.
I'm sorry, I was thinking about the elevator music. We captivated. We made it! Once we got past security systems around the chamber, it was time to show some of Scott's new final moves to that cost dude.
So yeah, the minikit would technically be up in the corner, but obviously this is our 1 of 5 right here. This should be the last one you can do. I don't remember if you have to do any of them with Hydro Pad, but if we have to backtrack with it, we can. So what we're gonna have to do for it is we have to go like this. Then while he's turning the other way, we have to actually hit the target again. Double checking. Yeah, we can't do this one. Yeah, so we can't save Stan. Sorry, man. And technically what would happen is this cutscene will actually begin already.
Yellow jacket suit. And it's like fresh tech, bro. I mean, Scotty's suit can't even fly.
See?
Don't stop him.
Well, you see, we technically have to move forwards, and there's like nothing else you can do in this room. Like, when you come back on free play, the scanner will actually become available, and there will be a minikit in this room. So we're just gonna finish the level, and then we're gonna come back on free play. I'm really shocked this only took me 10 minutes to do it.
Scotty was like, man, and then Yellow Jacket, he went like, yeah, and Scotty was like, boom! I just wish I could have actually seen it.
It was kind of like when I kind of got some, it was a really good movie. My favorite one was definitely the second movie. I think it was, or it might have been the first. I really like. Maybe because mainly over it was about it kind of shows what he actually did to defeat him, but
That's how it went down, cuz. So Ant-Man, he got all the ambush and stuff. But one man, you know, he managed to find his way out. He let that dude have it, and I was like, bang, bang, bang. He was helping him, like, he still people, you know. He said, hey, man, it's kind of weird, you know. But I think I can get used to this new guy stuff. Anyways, I gotta go. I'm ready to meet my cousin Ignacio at the museum.
This should be our next main kit that's coming up. So he has a fat, they kind of make it so you can't go, yo, what's up, you can't fly directly. Nope, you can't. Cool. I'm going to actually teleport my second player over right now. Because we're going to actually need our second player for this. So yeah. So what we're going to do is get up here. And we do need to turn invisible, so we'll do that. Does this one get done? So our next one, that shouldn't be anything. Surprisingly enough, there should be nothing you have to do with the hydro pads. Kind of shocked it didn't work. Okay. We'll build this so our second player can just climb up. If he does follow. If not, okay, we should be able to actually stand now. So don't worry, guys. However, I do have to do the one elevator day. So after we do this, we're going to go ahead and get ourselves some minikit behind it. So, where's their stand? Where I believe stand was up here. Or it's just in our side area. No, it doesn't look like Stan was right up here. He's probably across. So this should be a minikit, and then this should be Stan, and then we should have one more minikit. There. Right here. Okay, so our last two minikits should be at the very end. So we do actually have to get to the elevator chute. Besides the point, we will not be able to get both minikits while both players out there anyway, so we're gonna have to continue the main story, sadly. So this is the only story that we're gonna have to do, basically. looks really quick on time. Yeah, so I think we're gonna be doing. Because in my next part, I will be doing lack of insight. Sadly. So it's gonna be this and 2 other story levels. After DLC, so DLC, the 2 story levels, and that's it. Got a pretty busy day. Like, we'll wonder when the next part. When we're gonna do the next part. I don't know even. So we're gonna hurry up and get this done now. Like, possibly I might do lack of insight. We'll see. I think it's guaranteed now because originally I wanted to, like, by enough, I wanted to do this earlier. It's like, it's already past 11. It's almost heading to 12 for me right now when I'm doing this. Just trust me. I wanted to be like on a little bit earlier, but then that never happened. But tomorrow for sure, if that doesn't happen, I am definitely going to be doing a part. But definitely I'll be rambling. So what we're gonna have to do is get into the vent system twice. Obviously, when I mention. So when us do free play, so what's gonna happen is he's gonna go, hey, here's the big bad. Right here, you can go ahead and go up and fight him like earlier, but instead of us going up to him, the reason we had to go back was because now this thing will appear. First of all, we wouldn't be able to do it because none of our characters can do it. And finally, to get it, we need to get up here. And we're gonna. There we go. Alright. That is Ant-Man. So our next one we're gonna do is I'm gonna do all different Doctor Strange, I believe. Because Masters of Evil is gonna be very quick. Because only if Star Ones didn't took too long. Probably would have got more done. So yeah. We'll do Cat and Marvel as our 5th one.
Sorcerer Supreme is rarely born. It's difficult to know it. I am Agamotto alerted me to intruders. Mystical menace. Intimidated by Marvel dimension. Those beings. What this gruesome duo don't know is that I too have an eye on Avenger. There is a chance that with the aid of the beautiful Clea, I could foil their dark purpose. Like a hoary host of Hogan, they will learn what it means to tangle with a master of the mystic arts. My sanctum was under attack and I had to fend it. I could keep his puppets at bay because Dormammu's power aiding me. Mordo's shield was impenetrable.
Okay, so that's our first mini. We can work on the one of 4 paintings.
Only hope to Dormammu would also be.
See, if we had Doctor Strange here, we could break that and get that one done. So, one thing about this level is it's mainly moreover that one player's going to have to do one thing, and the other player does the other thing.
Dormammu was distracted and Mordo's power waned. Unable to maintain his shield, he was left vulnerable. Now is my chance to strike.
So we're actually going to head to the room in the ceiling.
I only hope that Clea could continue to distract Dormammu to make Mordo vulnerable to anyone's hope.
Not in this part, I meant in there. So what we're going to be doing is, okay, so I like how they flipped us. So before I do the painting in the other part, I'll just not worry about that. Yeah. Obviously we can't get that one because we need Ultron. I mean, be honest with you people, these levels are actually pretty short in retrospect. Including the next one we're going to be doing, Masters of Evil is going to take us like in a minute. There's like a few collectibles we can get in it. It's a 1C bubble. I remembered that there's only one more mini cat I can get. Or it's just one mini cat, I think. I think one of the issues I had with this level is you are forced to go to the art scene, but it's kind of justifiable when you realize that you have to do everything with Chloe. Well, the good news is I should be able to do the 1 of 4. So technically you could go into the ceiling, but we'll have to go down for like when we can't fly. Okay, so this should be all it we can do. Really the problem with her section is obviously so we can't save Stan because that's down there. We actually will have to do this part 2.
Magical beings of immense strength and power, with savage dispositions and minimal intelligence. Their only desire to fight and destroy anything and everything. Dormammu's prison is ready to burst forth.
good news is there is actually, so this should be our last part. We're only going to be able to get, at least, I think it's only 2 mini kits. I did mention the painting one, obviously, I'm doing. And the final one should be upstairs as well. The only reason we have to go back upstairs is for one collectible, and that's it.
Now release. Bind us onto the set on your arm. It would take all of his power to put us back into that prison. Power he could no longer spare for mortal. There's time to face it. Flames of Faultine. He would learn what it meant to cross Doctor Strange. Sorcerer Supreme.
So, what we're gonna do is obviously the only mini cow I'll be coming back for is that gold thing. Oh, we can fly. Is it 3 or 4? Yeah, I was right. We will have to go back up here. But yeah, I was right. It was up here. There we go. Alright, that's it. Those are the only 2 you can do because Doctor Strange can't laser. I think he can. But if you do break it, you can't get the mini kit behind there because you do need another thing. So we are forced to get back up here. So you should end the level. I'm gonna be right back getting something while you guys watch the cutscene. Alright. So yeah. By the way, for the record, you cannot fly up. See, they put boards in. Alright. You already flipped characters. We're gonna do this. first main kit is actually right here. She's also she's a quest at Martin's farm. I know, so we get to skip one. So the good news is we get to skip at least a couple, thanks to cheek outs, but our next one is right here. I didn't mention before. There you go. It doesn't matter who we says, we're just gonna go ahead and do it. I meant, the good news is, when us do the level for, Marvel and Masters of the Old, they're also not that long either. I'll keep it now. You just have to play it. The tune version. After using your all tracker. forest again. Or Jill, then I'll try here. Yeah, there's really nothing much I can really say. And by the way, you should only have about this amount left. So the last two, we do have the upstairs. Go back where that hourglass was, obviously. This is why we have to come back. I think you're living and does that, Chris, honestly. Okay, that's all new, all different, Doctor Strange. Technically, there's two Doctor Strange. This version, Doctor Strange and Doctor Strange. Okay. Space.
Hi there, Carol Danvers here. Well, at least it was, until they got caught in an exploding second night. I came out of the blast with an extra brain and some pretty awesome superpowers. Owned by the main captain over there in a full costume, I got it. Things have gotten pretty weird after recently. A few unwelcome guests coming out of the woodwork. Oh, what now? Lady wrestlers? Let's make this I got this. So then we were in the seems like Countess didn't want to play after all. Except I wasn't buying it. Probably just trying to learn. Time to look around for a plan B.
Okay, so begin off. This is not actually a very long call I have to do. Our first minikit we're going to get is this. Here we go first. On our way to do it, we're going to run into our next one. It works usually in, but we have to buy this, and then she gets a mini kit. Also, this is a DLC bubble, for example, that has that there's a mini kit not here on story, but it's on here on free play. And it's not at this scene, it's actually at the next scene. The final scene of the level. Here's that. Final one should be right here. Right? Now we're actually going to continue the story. Do this very quick level. I like how the first part you can't fly, and the second part you can. Yeah, I mean, that's the first part you can, second part you can't.
That got her attention, but I think it's safe to say she still looks pretty mad. We had to act fast.
And by the way, for the record,
Ouch! Now that was an accident just waiting to happen. That's when Pound Cake got really mad. She was on a super rampage and called me out for a one-on-one wrestling match. I'm no wrestler, but hey, somebody had to shut her up.
for the record, I found this very funny. But okay, this is already the first scene.
Pound Cake's taken care of. Great. What now? Don Rock. I should have known he was behind this madness. Looks like he's going to crush my lovely city with a lovely city. Oh, darn it. I've only just got my place how I like it. Come on, Cap. We have to stop that tree before the Big Apple's only fit for strudel.
So we should only. Technically, there was an army key you could get on the story, but you can't. Because it's not here. But by the way, we can't fly. So we're gonna have to do some stuff slow. So that's partially it. Our first mini kit for this thing is right here. And our final one's gonna be that gold one. I'm gonna actually go back to the one on the left on the new top right one very quick.
Pieces of chocolate from the psycho magnetron machine, still in my body, were being used to help power his evil schemes. Don Rock used this power to rebrand himself as Magnetron. He planned to rebuild an entire tree city, dropping it on top of New York. Yeah, I knew it wasn't going to be bad easy. Bad guys are all about the fear. It was a weird feeling. As if when Magnetron got hurt, I felt it too. Like we were connected, being drained of power every time he reeled.
The very funny part is when we get to do this level on free play, we will just be able to skip. Technically, I could have did this stuff earlier like that, but I wouldn't be able to replay Shakespeare in the Park.
Without being able to fly, this fight was going to be a whole lot tougher. Pretty glad Cap remembered to bring his souped-up bike along.
So yeah, like when this was like. So what we're gonna need to do is I'm actually gonna ignore the golding on this corner edge and get the golding up there first, and then get the one on this corner edge.
Cap was pretty salty about that bike getting destroyed. I said I could hook him up with a spaceship, but he just gave me that piece. I was starting to feel like no matter how many of these constructs or bad guys that I got rid of, Magnetron would just go ahead and summon some more. We needed a more permanent fix. I respawned. Yeah! Trample me! This girl knows how to improvise.
So what we should be able to do before I go finish the bottle. So before we jump across and finish the bubble, we're gonna break that, and the last one should be right here. Alright, this should be it, and then I actually do have to come back to this part right here for one more. Alright, that was the Captain Marvel level. Not too long. I'm gonna save the short end DLCs last, like Masters of Evil.
I need to get away. Break the connection. Only then can he be taken down. The further I get from him, the more I can feel my mind slipping away. This is who I am. My memories. I hope I let the cat out.
I kind of do like how they did this, and it, like they had camera on my background, and they said, "Oh, you know what? We're gonna make these characters important for superheroes too." Like obviously Captain Marvel wasn't shown to here, but of course Black Panther was already for superheroes too. Obviously, I'm going to. I could save some time by just jumping scenes, but we're just gonna roll with it and we're just going to get it done. The scenes.
Hi there, Carol Danvers here.
So, so I think, you know what, we might do that very quick, jump scenes very quick. Yeah, it does seem like that. We'll jump scenes very quick. And then we'll, yeah, like get ready, because we're going to be doing that kind of a couple times. Not a couple times, probably a good few amount of times. So we're going to hurry up and do that after. So this should be our first mini kit right here. Of 4. Because we need a total of 2. But it's kind of funny though, they could have just threw it all into one scene. going to be right here next to the other one, and then we'll just jump scenes, like I said. Because when I jump scenes, you're going to realize I'll show you what minikit wasn't there, obviously. And then we're going to jump to Masters of Evil. Then from there, we're going to go ahead and get the rest of this story done, of the Avengers story done. And I'm going to end it there. Because it's already going to be pretty late for me. Like, if I did begin, like, obviously an hour earlier, I would say, in my opinion, I would just go ahead and go do it. Alright, so we're not done yet. We're going to just jump cutscenes very quick to the last scene. Masters of Evil is going to be pretty much only because I'm one scene, but it's going to be very quick. There's only 3 boss fights you have to do in Masters of Evil, I think, or 2. No, it was 2. And then, yeah. I do want to say, though, my only thing I didn't like about, this was, obviously, so, it's of course, obviously, we're gonna have to, for the mini-kit, the 2 mini-kits are actually in front of us. We will not have to fight the big bad himself. We're gonna have to watch this cutscene. Obviously, we want to fly over here. Break this window. There's that mini-kit. And then you will notice what's over here is actually this. So if this was here on story, we would be able to do this on free play. I mean story, if it was here. Because I do believe you can double jump from there to it, but other than that, that's it. Alright. I don't know why they had to right on do that mini-kit. They could have literally, you could literally double jump on Captain America, and that's it. It's just weird. Okay, so we're on the final one, Masters of Evil. So straight off the bat, so first off, straight off the bat, we'll start by getting the full sound we can. 1 of 5, that. So one of the collectibles will be along this stand. So we'll start with the stand after I get the collectibles done of the breakable. That's why I need stand, by the way. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead. Oops, I got that one over there. Alright, so we're gonna start by doing the one over here. That's weird and all this. But okay. So what we're gonna do is get the minicat. Right here. There's actually one more minicat, but it'll involve this thing. So we're gonna actually have to do the story events. What they want us to do. And I did mention before, this level is kind of like one of those things where you would not have to worry about it too much.
So attached to the Avengers, would soon find the Avengers permanently attached to it.
So what we're doing is obviously
No matter the obstacle, Hydra always achieved its goals. Even as the Hydra field manual made no specific mention of bouncing on sharp canopies.
I like how this one takes place in the actual city. So yeah, like when I was talking about superheroes, I was actually talking about like, so I believe with alter events, what it actually, we do have to come back from this make-it, but
As we had anticipated, the Avengers began to arrive. First was Hydra, whose misguided attempts to stop us would only make our victory all the more glorious. The world is not ready for another civil just yet. Iron Man was no match for our combined might. The masters of evil forced him to retreat, his metal tail between his metal legs.
so now what we should be able to do is this should be a minicat. I mean, first, they need for a minicat.
Appearances can be deceiving. For those with connections to Hydra, power can be found anywhere. And what it is, we play aside.
So what we need to do is first of all, you actually need to activate this to get the the thing. To reveal. However, instead of leaving it right away, still play it as bare and scene modes, activate it again one more time. There we go. We only have one more fight to do, and that's with 4. And that's it. I'm gonna play as Radioactive Man because we're gonna need him for this. I like how they have to bring everybody up when we clearly need the melter. And, Herman Zemos, but yeah, they said, you know, we need to make sure we at least. It's kind of funny that the only thing you don't need to use is as radioactive as electricity. I couldn't do that electricity. I could do part 1, but I couldn't do part 2. But actually, there is still one more thing I can use for his electricity, the last mini-cat, actually. I forgot it's right here. Even though I couldn't get that one mini-cat, I can get this one. Yeah, that should be everything in the Masters of Evil. So you can't save Stan or get rub on. I was paying attention, I was so sidetracked. No, I was right in my head. Okay, I was. With it, there's this mini-cat and our mini-cat, one mini-cat over there. So 1, 2, then it's 2 right there. Dumpster over there, that's 3. Up there is 4, and then the 5th one's over there. Should be about right. Now it's a placeholder fight. Okay, this should end the level, by the way. Masters of Evil.
Not even the god of thunder could stop us. I suppose you could say he tried Asgard as he could. Just the point of victory. With the city at its knees, our evil plan became unstuck. Straight Avengers swapped my dastardly gloom for solvent, releasing my captives. Yet I remain undeterred. For I, Zemo, never surrender. It is my destiny to rule, and rule I... Wait, is that a smoke bomb? I'll get you, Avengers. Just you wait.
I like that they have him as a side villain you have to fight inside the main story. In Superheroes Tale with that. Like, so much of the stuff came from Superhero in this game to Superheroes Tale. So, now we're gonna finish Masters of Evil. Trust me, Masters of Evil, Jim and Ed's better on. So we'll just get it done quickly. Begin. So basically we're just gonna speed run that. Start off the bat, we have this cutscene. And begin. So start off the bat, we're gonna actually head over here, just so I can get the one mini-cat. And then we're gonna hurry up and rescue Stan. Like, that's why I had to get Loki the suit. Follow that up by getting up here. But you can't pull with that, so we do actually need to get a pull character very quick. So we'll use Avon up here. There we go. Next, I'll start off the bat, we'll use Radioactive Man. Do that mini-cat. To get this mini-cat. And then for the final one, we just add that over to Dumpster. Alright, that was Masters of Evil. Replay. 32 minutes. And that was quick. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and finish up the Avengers story, and then I'm gonna be stopping there. Story and free play for Valve. So let's begin. So right off the bat, we do actually have a side thing to do. And then we're going to have one more side thing I didn't meant to go in here. So we're going to quickly just get the rest of the scroll. How much scroll modifiers we have now. And I'm not going to worry about coming back up here into the end of the main game story. By the way, that's not the last red brick. I forget. I think it was the ultimate team up. Doesn't come from the last level. It comes from a earlier level. Yeah, so we are just going to.
You should start charging for your services. I thought the director always said that.
So yeah, we're gonna actually do. Good news is we should not need to go back to the first scene. So this should be the. We shouldn't play as them, and then yeah. It's kind of nice that you get to play as them for a second. But we're not actually going to be playing them as long. Once you get outside of the heligator, it should be in the next level. There should only be one mini-cat, I mean 2 mini-cats. In next part. So once I pull this, it should just be the next level. If I remember correctly. Yep. Right? It should begin in a minute. After. Oh yeah, right. I would did stuff on the heligator, but we are just going to get next level. Alright, I'll be right back. Something?
Listen, no, you were the greatest man I ever knew. You will be avenged. I will get the Avengers, and you will be avenged. Listen. Oh, hey, it's you guys. The helicarrier is stranded at the moment. You're kind of on your own in this boat. Sorry about that. Oh, and also try not to damage that clean engine stuff, okay?
It's unbreachable. So what's this not ready for the pump? Then skip spinning rooms run far. Please tell me you're going to appeal to my humanity. Actually, I'm claiming failure. I have a fear. The Avengers? I have an army. We have a hope. How will your friends have time for me when they're so busy fighting you? This usually works. Not uncommon.
So yeah, we should be able to get everything here. So when I do this level, I'm also going to do what I did. Is jump cut. So what we should have is this fight.
This is Agent Hell 4. Do you read me? I really hope you still have that communicator we gave you. Try and avoid Loki's attacks. Agent Barton? Agent Romanov? Please respond. Well, I guess you're a little busy.
That should be the only mini-kit we can get. Right there. So I could have waited. So that was the only mini-kit we can get. It right there. But we still have one more mini-kit in this scene we can get. Suddenly drama, am I right? I can make a joke about that. So, what should happen is there should only be one more main kit we can get here. So we don't actually have to come back to this scene. So you would actually flip to them, but before you finish up with them, come over here. Ignore all these. This is the last mini cat for this scene. I mean, trust me, I was not planning to be so long in this life, and it was gonna be like, oh, after that, I was gonna end up doing lack of insight, but yeah, I'm gonna mention. So yeah, we're gonna finish up the Avengers story, and then that's where I said it was gonna be. Because trust me, lack of insight is gonna take me a whole hour part to do, because I first do Washington after doing lack of insight, and then I hurry up and do free play for the level. And then we go from there to Ready Aim Fire. So yeah. I like how they have to keep playing the epic music even though it's very unnecessary. So what you need to do is grab a rocket and hit the thing. The good news is there's actually no metal mini-cat this part. So yet again, we are doing the thing is avoiding. And then after we avoid, we are going to be able to hit. And then this should be the end of the scene. There. I don't know why this takes forever. So, there's still one mini kit that we're going to be heading up in the third part. It was one of them that I did mention I had a problem with. I'll explain what the mini kit was. So it's so funny when we were doing this, we were in the fire hydrants and that. However, we did actually forget one mini kit. Because after all, we did have 2 characters that, and I mean, of course, Hawkeye and Captain America. So we're gonna. This is actually gonna be one of the scenes I'm gonna be jump cutting from. But first, we're gonna head over here. This is where the mini kit. I forgot it. That's it. There we go. So, the next scene over, we're gonna. Should be our first group save. Right. So before I head over there, we're gonna finish this side over here. They actually have Beth the Waitress here. A fun fact about Beth the Waitress, it's a reference to a deleted scene. There was originally going to be more scene with Beth the Waitress, and she had some more side character role in it. I totally forgot it was. It was supposed to let one of the characters know something, but it's supposed to be somewhere both the deleted scenes from Avengers. Technically, it's not a deleted scene, it's just not a scene in the movie. Where's Hawkeye? I need Hawkeye for a minute. So the last fire hydrant should be that we have to destroy. Should be over here. Yep. So there's only a couple things I'm coming back from the collector. And 2 mini cats. I think it is, or 1 carrot. No, it's 1 carrot and a mini cat. So we're gonna have to get this done. So we could already get the citizens and save all that, and then there's something else up. I mean, there's a couple things we're doing. There's something else we have to do over there to notice. I think it's in our scan. It's a scanner thing, but I know it's forcing a point, so you should save back error. should only be one more mini-kit we can get on story. I believe where it's 2. And it's not here. We're down here with all the mini-kits that we can do on story. So yeah, this should be the end of the second scene, and then there should be one more scene.
That's the last time I take the bus.
Also, yeah, we're gonna also be able to get a character.
We got his attention. What's that do?
This is the way it says. The cars surrounding the cube is impenetrable.
Nora's right. We gotta deal with these guys.
How do we do this?
As a team.
So,
I'm afraid I've got some bad news, team. The helicarrier is still stranded. So you'll need to hold off Loki's army underground until he scrambles for reinforcements. Sorry about that.
I have unfinished business with Luke.
Yeah? Get in line. Take it. Loki's gonna keep us by focused on us, and that's what we need. Not gonna get things one wise.
so yeah, we're just gonna get through this part pretty quickly. Yeah, so we should be able to get a character and a mini-cat. First of the carrot is actually right here. You can fix it upright or just do it like what I just did. Okay, so now we should have... Our last make it should actually come from here. So this is part of the main story. If I failed to get this main kit, that's alright. I can also do it on the story. Replay. But don't worry, I won't. Technically there was also another main kit that we could get on the story, but thanks to, of course, what I showed you in the Captain Marvel level, it's not possible. So what we're going to have to do for the minikit is, earlier I was actually trying to do something, like, you people were not probably paying attention. But you have to do, I don't think it matters with it, and it was lagging so bad, so I've been failing this one a lot thanks to the Dex RAM. You have to destroy 4 in a row. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Like, it doesn't matter how much you miss after, you just want to destroy the first 4 in a row. Okay? So the thing you would have to come back for, I think it's Stan. But we still have to go down here because of a couple things. So we cannot say Stan because one thing does not spawn on story. And if it did, we actually had the characters that we needed to save them. Right here. So we do actually have to come back for Stan. So this should be where the last one is. There's no minikit on our left, but yeah. So this is the last thing we have to do, and then we're done with the story level. Then of course Banner shows up. By the way, it's a genius line what he says.
Stark, we got it. Banner, so set. I'm telling you to suit up. I'm bringing the party to you.
I don't see how that's a party.
Dr. Banner. Now might be a really good time for you to get angry. That's my secret. I'm always angry.
Mission on the level. By the way, after we do this, the fireman, I forgot. So yeah, after I free play this level, guys, I'm doing one more story level, that'll be the next level in free play, and that's all I'm doing. But first, I'm done cutting twice. Second part and third part.
Call me, Captain. All right, listen up. Until we close that portal up there, I'll use containment. All right, I want you on that move. Eyes on everything. Call out patterns and strays. Stark, you got the perimeter. Anything gets more than 3 blocks out, we turn it back, or we turn it to ash. Right. Better than check the doors. Thor, you gotta try and bottleneck that portal. Slow it down. You got the lighting? You and me, we stay here on the ground. Keep the fighting here. And Hulk. Smash.
Once this area is cleared, we need to regroup with the others. There are a lot more aliens here than we
Yeah, so I'm jump cutting twice. Because now we are doing Earth's Mightiest, the last level. For this. So Avengers Assemble, see, there was 2 here, so I only need the 3 minikits, 1 red brick and a Garriter. It was a fun fact, you cannot get the red brick until you talk to the main person, obviously. So all of them should be laid out in the order. If I forgot a minikit, well, it's my bad. But I shouldn't have forgot any. So start off with that. We first come over here. This is actually the character right here. Should be. After you break that, break this. There you go. We'll talk to the collector while we're up here. The next thing is actually right here. Should be our first minikit. So we'll get the wig. The wig is actually over here.
Hurry now. My associate doesn't like you. Wait.
I might have, could have did the thing. I have to wait and see. Oh, wait, no, I couldn't. Because I had to teleport in. I remember now. So now, after you fix it, you just need to get just all the studs and there's the minicat. So before I turn in the thing, break this car. There we go. So that's all the minikits here. So we'll cut to the next scene after I get our brick. Let's finish up with that one. At least we get the skip jump, so I'm actually going to jump cut to the next part of the level to get the last character to make it handstand. So yeah, what is the thing going to be? Is yeah, it's like honestly, I would have did more, but I already said before. I got some things I want to do. Mainly hang out with Creep, but it's mainly I don't want to end up sleeping in until like a very long time. You know, talking about people like sleeping into like a long time, and it's like, geez. Okay. So obviously when we come to the next level, I'm actually going to be doing every scene for next level. So first off, straight off the bat, we actually have to go over here to get one collectible done. And this shouldn't be the start off one of three. Yes, that thing that was earlier. Yeah, it's a one of three thing. It's kind of nice they gave us Loki, but we also have other characters that we can use it for. To be able to do this thing. So what we need to do is put this one in the middle. This one on the side, obviously. You always could look in the hub world if you would have it, or you played the first game and you want to understand that. So there's the minicat. So our first collectible is actually right here. I bet our next one's actually up ahead with the fire truck, and then the third one's down the hole. So obviously story stuff we have to do. By the way, if you actually do it right now, in fact, strikes it, you still can get the character. You just have to hit the break the window. So what we're going to be doing is obviously we're going to have to do that shield thing again. So yet again, now if you missed the mini kit, you can always do it right here. There we go, I did 3 in a row. I don't know why when he goes to that angle, it kind of glitches out. That 3 in a row before. Also, there we go. So now we can actually save stand. Originally this was, now this scan pad is actually here. Comparing to the original. Do that to get the minicat. Now, see if you couldn't scan, you could scan with Black Widow and then you could save him with Hawkeye. And then rent the car. So now finally for the final mini kit, I guess the character, you need to actually lift the bathtub up. That's it. And that's about mission. Alright. That's it. So alright, now we are on the final level of the Avengers story. So this leaves us in total that we only have a total of 8 levels of the main story left. This includes Lack of Insight, Radiate Fire, Lost in Ether, and the last 5 levels of so okay, so we are done. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna continue the story to the final level. We just need to do this one small thing. And then we'll end that part, and then we're on the final level. Let you listen of the Avengers story.
It's going to take more than well-timed all-liners to call them the rest of us back to the Avengers. Our reports indicate that as well as being big and scary, they're protected by some kind of reinforced armor, which looks pretty tough to crack. If we want to have any chance of closing that portal and defeating Loki, we'll need to work together and assemble as Avengers. Hey, is that important to the catchphrase? Good luck to you.
Director Fury, the council has made a decision. That is the island of Manhattan. Until I'm certain my team can't hold it, I will not order a nuclear strike against the civilian population.
So, we will actually have to get to the end point of this level. Not end. Yeah, we do actually have to get to the end of this level. But we're gonna have to. That's our first. I mean, we only have to go back for one collectible here, and it's gonna be very quick. So if you're go on this side, go behind it. There's our first character. Like, come on. You know what's so funny? We finally get to play as Hulk again. The good news is you do not have to worry about it. Okay, so obviously, when us do story, we're gonna actually there's gonna be 2 collectibles here, not 1. Yeah, there's the next one right in front of us. So the mini kits we're gonna actually have to come back for are this mini kit in front and another one on the side right there. So, okay, this is the end of the first scene. Because Hawkeye leaves us, that's why we're gonna have to go back. So, however, we actually do have an R name. It's just that there's like so much small stuff that you can do in the way. So the next collectible is actually right here, on my right. So we can break this car. I think we have to break the car, and then you pull this, and this will give us a version of Bucky. Our best cap. So sadly, with this, we do actually will have to do this elevator. At least because the mini kit up there, you can't reach it without doing this. I think you only have to bring it down like that, but you might also have to do this part too. And that's kind of fine because after all, you could just fly through this. Like there's nothing here. Right up there. And by the way, you just only have to get to the roof of the level of the next part just for a couple things, the red brick and a couple mini kits. It's kind of like one of those things that sadly. So Hawkeye will leave. So you do actually have to go back here because Hawkeye leaves. If Hawkeye didn't leave, you would be able to get more done. So yeah, we have to come back for that window mini cat. And that's it. See, if you didn't have to, we could have at least gone back and get those two mini kits. So with all the characters here, if they were at the right point, you don't actually have to come back to the scene now. You could have skipped this scene. It's kind of funny. Alright, so... So yeah. So I actually will go back for the... See, this is the one the minikits you're going back for. After you defeat them, there we go, the save stand. This scene is actually very easy, very quick. Okay, so we are forced to do it. Okay, before I get the last main key you can get this level. Of course, before he does that most famous line. Yeah, by the way, this was a achievement you had to do on like more superheroes. Cause this move you're doing to Loki. So yeah, there's nothing else you can get here. Other than that being done. So we already say stand in that. We're gonna sadly have to do it again. we could skip this. So instead of grabbing the scepter piece right away, I didn't mean to die like that, but that's alright. Yeah, that seems about right of the mini kits because you gotta carry her after all. If I forgot a mini kit, that's no big deal. But other than that, then this is it. This was the end level. So yeah, that's the Avengers now. By the way, thanks to this, you also unlock these levels right here. Okay, these actually happens before Age of Ultron. And No Strings on Me is actually the second level of Age of Ultron. Let's read something.
Just in from the station, what has been described as an extraterrestrial attack. The heroes of the group known as the Avengers has been to many a cause not only of comfort, but celebration. It's just really great knowing they're out there, you know? Someone's watching over us.
I love you, Thor! And then he goes pew pew, and then he goes boom, and the screen guy walks up and he goes roar.
I just feel safe when those guys are here.
I just want to say thank you.
Avengers themselves. Their sudden appearance and equally sudden disappearance.
But that's, of course, a direct reference, but... This was supposed to show us reveal. Lack of insight actually is the best. Although it explains what happened. So, it will explain in the level. And later in the story when we come to our next part. So... But, oh, anyway.
Hydra, shield, two sides of a coin that's no longer currency. What we have is
So yeah, get ready to see this cutscene no longer than a good a lot of times when we do. Because I try to stay story relevant. Okay. So I am actually only doing one more level. And that's of course free play just for Earth's Mightiest Heroes. And then I am going to be stopping it there for this part. Honestly, I did like an insight, but I didn't want to be up very late. You would not want to know how late. But okay, so you've been yourself. So, Earth's Mightiest, we actually need 2 minikits at the first scene, then 3. And then the rest are actually at the end, so. This does seem about right. So the good news is I can at least rush through this level, in my personal opinion. It's kind of funny that the second scene could have been avoided, because all the characters were there you needed. But of course they wanted to go, oh no, we need to make sure the second scene is important to go back to. Alright, so we're going to just make this quick. Obviously. So, there's the minicap. So, last minicap for the scene is. So obviously we're just going to get done. Okay, that was the first scene, obviously. I was, like, when I was doing this, I was hoping that it was like, hey, I would be able to get more done. But sadly, it doesn't work like that. Okay, so now, that's our next minikit. So before we get the go inside for the main story, we're actually going to hurry up and get the next minikit. I think I can get it right now. I just only have to get the elevator at least first down to right here. I don't have to laser that. Should not need to laser that. Well, I have to. Nope. There we go. So for the final minikit, this part is obviously, if Hawkeye didn't disappear, we would have had it already. But thanks to Hawkeye disappearing, because he goes somewhere. I mean, trust me, this is like one of those things that, hey, you could have gone back and did more. Like this whole scene, if all three characters stayed together, you would be able to get every minikit here. And obviously they only did that so so they won't fly out of the building before, just to get those ones. Oh, So yeah, this is just being like, honestly, I kind of almost wish this level was kind of a little quicker, but I understand why it's not quicker. In my opinion, it's one of those levels that felt like a lacquer. Obviously, there's no point in me judging because one, I don't want to watch that long cutscene, and two, it's just simply one guy. That's it. So yeah, in the next part, I'm gonna hopefully get done with all three of the things and do no strings on me, possibly anger management. I already could do one of the mini kits inside, but what we're gonna actually do is get done with the outside first. We'll already save Stan while we're at it. So you have to do this, and then for the mini kit, this one. Okay, we are actually done with mini kits here. Now we're gonna go ahead and cause what we had to do, Peony God. And then we're gonna end with doing the collector. By the way, as even though it's not, he has a quest also in Superhero Scale. But the collector actually is a Guardians of the Galaxy, not a villain, one of the side things or cares or whatever in the first movie. So before I do the panel, I'm actually going to come back in here. Like I said before. So we're just going to get this done, and then we'll come back in here to do the panel for this mini cat. Because after all, if anything happens, I can always go back to this scene. Yeah, so it feels like a disappointment. So what we're going to have to do is we'll talk to him. It's kind of funny that we take the thing that we... Yes, okay, so... For the... So, first of all, you're going to get a mini kit for not going in. But our first mini kit is actually right here. Here's the thing, but before I grab it, obviously I only waited. You just had to do that. I could have did it and then continue, but it wouldn't matter. I would have to go back inside anyways. And then this is fine collectible. So yeah, this is it. Okay, that's all the Avengers So, obviously we're gonna see this again one more time. Yeah. Originally I was going to do lack of insight in this part, but it's already very late for me. So, you like this part? I mean, you guys enjoy this part. In the next part of, we're gonna do lack of insight, radiant fire, and loss and ether incomplete the next two areas. So other than that, then I'm gonna be ending it here. That will be next time. You're watching, hope you, right? You know, like, subscribe, all that. But other than that, then see you next part. Peace and adieu.